There was once an elderly janitor named Babatunde, a quiet man with weary eyes and a limp in his step. He worked at a government secondary school near the heart of town, the kind of school where dreams were shaped through chalk, sweat, and prayer. Every morning, while the world still slept, Babatunde arrived with his mop and broom, sweeping empty corridors and whispering quiet prayers for the children he barely knew. He wore the same brown uniform every day, and though time had bent his back and slowed his pace, he never missed a day of work. Most students walked past him like he didn't exist. A few giggled behind his back, calling him Baba Tattered. But one girl stood out, Amaka. Amaka was the kind of student who shone not because of riches, but in spite of poverty. Her shoes were patched, her notebooks recycled from old calendars, and her school uniform held together with careful stitches. But her heart was a furnace of hope. She greeted Babatunde every morning. "Good morning, sir," she would say with a soft smile. And every time he would nod quietly, a flicker of light in his tired eyes. Amaka came from a struggling home. Her mother sold roasted corn by the roadside. Her father had died when she was 7. Her 2 younger siblings depended on her. Yet Amaka never missed a class. She sat in the front row. She asked questions. She helped classmates who were weaker. And she dreamed of becoming a doctor. The final year approached. The 3rd term exam was everything. Only the first-place student would win the university scholarship. It was her only hope. Amaka studied late into the night under a smoky lantern. She fasted. She prayed. She believed. But when the results came out, she came second. She stared at the notice board, willing the ink to change. It didn't. The scholarship went to another girl. Amaka sat under the mango tree behind the school and wept. Babatunde passed by. He didn't ask what was wrong. He simply sat beside her and said, "Sometimes the rain falls twice before the sun shines." She looked at him through her tears. He gave her a half smile and patted her shoulder. Everyone expected her to move on. But Amaka did something bold. She repeated the class, voluntarily. When her classmates mocked her, she smiled. She told her mother, "If I must try again, I will. I'm not done yet." The next academic session began. This time the challenges were tougher. Midway through the term, her mother fell ill. They had to sell their radio and fan to buy medicine. Then came another blow. Just a week to exams, the bursar announced, "No payment, no exam." Amaka's heart sank. She hadn't paid her fees. Her mother had no money left. It looked like history would repeat itself. That evening, she cried at the back of the school building. But the next morning, when she went to plead with the bursar, he looked up and said, "Your name is marked paid." She was stunned. He showed her the ledger, anonymous payment. No one knew who, just a note. She deserves to write. Amaka wiped her tears and sat for the exams. When the results came out, she stood before the board in disbelief. First position. It was real. She had finally won the scholarship. The entire school celebrated. Her name was announced in assembly. Teachers clapped. Even students who once mocked her came to congratulate her. But there was someone missing. Babatunde. No one had seen him for weeks. She asked around. Finally, a cleaner said softly, "He was sick." They said it was cancer. She ran to his house near the mechanic village. A neighbor told her, "He passed 2 weeks ago." Amaka stood frozen. The air left her lungs. The neighbor handed her a small envelope. Inside it was a worn receipt, folded neatly. On it, Amaka's exam fees, paid in full. Below that, in faded handwriting, "She must not be left behind." Her legs gave way. She sat on the dusty floor, sobbing uncontrollably. So it was him. The man no one noticed. The man with the crooked back and broken sandals. the one who called her daughter with his eyes. He had seen her struggle. He had believed in her, and he had given all he had, without saying a word. Years passed. Amaka finished medical school. At her graduation, she held the certificate high and whispered, "Thank you, Babatunde, I made it." She returned to her old school with 10 computers, textbooks, and medical kits. On each computer was a sticker that read, "In memory of Babatunde, a janitor who swept the path for greatness." Not all heroes wear suits. Some wear slippers and sweep in silence. Kindness needs no witness. It does not wait for applause. It does not post itself online. It simply gives and walks away. Because true kindness isn't done to be remembered, but to make sure someone else doesn't get forgotten. Be that kind soul.